There is a kind of loneliness that nobody notices. The kind that happens in full rooms, at dinner tables, inside relationships, between people who say they love you. It is the loneliness of being surrounded and still feeling unseen. And somehow that hurts more than being alone. Because when you are alone, at least that feeling makes sense. But when people are around, when your phone is not empty, when your life looks normal from the outside and you still feel disconnected, you start questioning yourself. Why do I still feel lonely? Why do I feel far away from people who are close to me? Why does everyone else seem satisfied by this when I still feel empty? Most people think company and connection are the same thing. They are not. You can have attention without intimacy, presence without understanding, conversations without truth. You can be loved and still feel unknown. That is the loneliness people struggle to name because it sounds ungrateful. How can you feel lonely when people are there? How can you feel unseen when people care? But emotional loneliness is not about quantity, it is about depth. Some people are fed by surface level closeness, shared routines, light conversations, casual consistency, and that is enough. But for others, especially sensitive people, deep thinkers, emotionally aware people, that is not enough. They crave something else: truth, safety, emotional honesty, the relief of not having to translate yourself. They want someone who can hear the sentence behind the sentence, someone who notices the silence too, someone who asks the second question, not the first. And when that kind of connection is missing, loneliness grows, even inside beautiful lives. Sometimes the loneliness begins because you learned early to become understandable instead of authentic. You learned which parts of you felt acceptable and which parts felt safer to hide. Be easier, be calmer, be less emotional, be less intense, be less honest. So people know you, but only in edited versions. And when that happens, you can be loved and still feel lonely. Because being loved for a version of you that is not fully true still feels like distance. Not because people are bad, but because intimacy requires truth. And truth requires risk. The risk of saying, this is what actually hurts. This is what I need. This is who I am when I stop performing. That is terrifying because it invites misunderstanding, or worse, being understood and still not chosen. So, many people choose managed loneliness over vulnerable honesty because distance feels safer than rejection. But safe distance still costs something. It costs relief, it costs peace, it costs the feeling of finally exhaling around another human being. And humans are not built for permanent emotional distance. We are built for witness, for resonance, for the quiet healing of someone saying, I know exactly what you mean, and meaning it. Sometimes that matters more than advice, not solutions, recognition. That is why words matter. That is why your future work will still matter, because sometimes the deepest healing is not fixing someone, it is helping them feel understood. Maybe that is also what you are looking for now. Not more people, not more noise. Just one place where you do not have to shrink to stay connected. And often that begins with honesty with yourself first, because sometimes the deepest loneliness comes from self abandonment, not solitude. Laughing when you feel hurt, saying yes when you mean no, staying quiet to keep peace, performing closeness instead of building it. Your body notices even when nobody else does. Intimacy with others usually begins with honesty with yourself. Can I tell myself the truth first? Can I admit I want deeper things? Can I stop pretending surface level peace is enough? That honesty changes everything because once you admit you need depth, you stop settling for noise. You choose slower friendships, safer people, cleaner boundaries, more truth, less performance. That may shrink your circle, but it expands your peace. And peace matters more than access. Not everyone deserves full access to you. Some people are for conversation, some are for companionship, some are for your soul. Know the difference. Because loneliness is not always a sign to find more people. Sometimes it is a sign to find truer ones. And if right now you feel unseen, hear this clearly. Your depth is not too much. Your sensitivity is not the problem. Your need for real connection is not unrealistic. You are not difficult to love. You are simply not built for shallow things. That is not weakness, that is discernment. And the right people will not ask you to become smaller to be easier to hold. They will meet you there in truth, in honesty, in depth. Tomorrow we are going deeper because we need to talk about why people pleasing disconnects you from your own life and why so many good people mistake self abandonment for kindness. If this felt personal, tomorrow's conversation will too. You are not too much. You are not hard to love. You are simply meant for deeper things. Do not settle for being surrounded when your soul is asking to be seen. I believe in you. You do not have to carry everything alone. I'll be here.